All right, let's see. In order to do this, um, uh, I am going to broadcast from, let's see. All right. Okay. Good morning, or let's see. As Robin Williams would say, good morning, Central Valley. This is a live broadcast from the Central Valley Report, also the home of Rainbow Comedy Central, with your MC, Siava Lisa Wolfwright. And good morning to you all. I hope that you're ready for some news and satire. And in case you don't know what satire is, look it up. Okay. And I'm lighting some tobacco. And this is to Mrs. Rachel Harding, who made a comment about my lighting sage and called it voodoo. Listen, white woman. Oh my God. I think I'm going to have to also do some research on libel and slander, because it goes both ways. When I'm, receiving and shooting the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. That's Shakespeare, in case you all didn't know. You may think that I am just here to be shat upon by you good townspeople of what you call Crescent Valley, Nevada. But I hate to break it to you. I went to Harvard, park your car in Harvard Yard. And why is that important? Well, let's see. As I mentioned in my post this morning, in response to the very funny comment by our bully in chief, the sitting sheriff of Eureka County, Jesse Watts, when he complained that I hung up on him yesterday twice. I hung up on him twice. He was so annoying that I hung up on him first, took a deep breath, and then said, okay, I'm going to try this again. And understand, I used to teach, be the Title I teacher for the Crescent Valley Elementary School. I was sent the remedial students, and Jesse Watts definitely would have been seeing me on a daily basis when he was in elementary school. I can almost guarantee that. So as a teacher, let me explain to you your sheriffness, that generally when one is invited to be interviewed by a newscaster, including one that you have treated so shabbily as myself, it's best to be respectful, because I am not simply your paid sycophant. Do you know what a sycophant is? Okay, it's a big word. Look it up. Okay, that's an assignment, Jesse. I'm speaking to you right now as a private person to private person. When you call a journalist who went to Harvard, was a professional reporter before you were even born, literally, for a Gannett newspaper, which was called the Free Press in Westport, Connecticut. I don't think you were alive in 1975 and 1974 when I was writing for the Free Press when I was in high school. That's how smart I was. That was the year before I went to Harvard. Did you go to Harvard, Jesse? Where did you go to college? Did you go to college or did you get your degree online? Oh, I'm sorry. This is Rainbow Comedy Central and I do comedy roasts. Hey, Justin Bieber can take it. Everybody else can take it. Consider yourself roasted. Yeah. And guess what, Mr. Constitutional Sheriff? Free speech is guaranteed under the Constitution in these United States of America. And you work for me, not the other way around. I don't work for you. You don't pay my bills. Do you? No, you don't. So back to, let's see. Today's broadcast is called Kindergarten for Public Officials. All right. So just the first point is that it's probably not a good idea, Mr. Watts. Let's turn your light bulb on since you're named after the watt, which is an electrical term. You probably know that since it's been your last name your whole life. You may want to listen here. I don't care what Donald Trump did or Ken Jones, but it's generally a good idea to not publicly insult the person who is interviewing you. Because believe it or not, I have friends who watch me and listen to me all over the country and the world. So you just made a laughing stock of yourself. Okay? As Shakespeare would say, Mr. Watts, you have been hoisted on your own petard. What is a petard? Look it up. That's a Shakespeare reference. I used to be a Shakespeare scholar. I have a Master of Fine Arts and part of a doctorate in comparative literature from the University of Oregon. I started my bachelor's degree at Radcliffe the same year as Caroline Kennedy did. Do you remember Sheriff Watts, who John F. Kennedy was? You probably do. I think you probably learned that in elementary school. Well, I was admitted to Harvard in the same class as Caroline Kennedy, whose last name is now Schlossberg, okay? I was also in the same class as Maura Moynihan, the daughter of, oh, he was a Democrat, so you probably don't like him, but that's okay, all right? Maybe, you can have some synchronicity in your brain and listen, even though it doesn't fit in to your worldview. Heil. I'm sorry, that was my what do you call it? I always say it's my Tourette's disease kicking in. Yeah, that was a joke. Do you know what a joke is? Yeah, look in the mirror. Ha ha ha. So I'm sorry. I had to come on the air and be just, funny because I'm having our first open house at 3039 Crescent Avenue in what is called Crescent Valley, Nevada, of the White Buffalo Nations, Central Valley Trading Post, Rainbow Comedy Central, Grandmother's House, Central Valley Catering. Did I miss anything? Oh, Mending the Hoop, Healing Oasis. On Monday, starting at 4 p.m., the doors open. You have to have been invited. This is a private party. It's kind of like Studio 54. Okay. And we will be checking under masks. So if you're a gnome, goblin, or just generally rude, obnoxious, arrogant, self-important, ego-tripping person, you won't be let in, and you will be asked to leave the property because it's private property. And I also want to apologize to everyone I just invited to be on this program because my internet connection was interrupted. And so the invitation link to YouTube was no good. And I decided because of the internet and because I was so raring to go that that I was just going to get to it without inviting everybody again. We will be later in the day if Geronimo and some of my other cohorts in Mending the Hoop are available. We are going to have begin again to have our Saturday Mending the Hoop Healing Council on Blog Talk Radio. So this is to let Chief Geronimo Thomas Langendorfer know that we are going to be going on Blog Talk later. I don't have a lot of time this morning because I am the chief cook and bottle washer here at Rainbow Comedy Central. Heaven on Mother Earth now. We're not waiting. No, we're sick of having this earth run by blood drinking, baby eating cabal. Okay, we're taking over. We're taking it back on behalf of the heavenly host, Archangel Michael. Whoop, whoop. Yeshua, he's our man. He's our man. If anyone can do it, yes, he can. And as he is so fond of saying, it's G's us. And if you don't like my manic energy, then don't listen. If you don't like humor, if you don't like satire, if you can't stand having, being poked fun at, then you really should get out of the public forum, because I hate to tell you, but being made fun of is part of what happens to public figures. Now, I suggest those of you who've been, because I think I read, or I shall read, if I can get to it. Let's see if I can master the wonders of technology. Let's see here. Let me see. Serena messaged me. Okay. All right. Serena, I am live right now, and I can't listen to your thing. Let me see. I'm going to see if I can find my, where is my comment? This is, I'm going to read out loud my invitation to our event on Monday at 4 o'clock. And please don't come earlier. If you've responded to the invitation already, it is $5. If you have not, then it's $10 at the door. And a portion of the proceeds are going to Wounded Knee to be administered by my niece, who is a board member for the White Buffalo Nation, which is for the people of the four directions: white, black, yellow, red. If you're here for the mending of the sacred hoop and the healing of the earth, then you just might be eligible to be a member of the White Buffalo Nation. And humor is inherent in the White Buffalo Nation, because to be buffaloed means to be made fun of, okay, in standard vernacular. So here's what I'm going to read this out loud for those of you who are perhaps dyslexic or have a short attention span. This is posted on the Central Valley Trading Post page on Facebook. The All Saints Day Children of All Ages celebration is a private party for friends, and only kind men, women, and children are invited. Important notice: private invitations for admission are being shared, like in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Parties at the Central Valley Trading Post are by invitation only. Either you have been invited personally by me or have received an invite privately. If you would like to attend but have not received an invitation, please PM Mrs. LJWW to Lisa J. Wolf Wright to request admission. Mean people who deserve coal in their stockings and have not made amends will not be admitted. If you have been cruel in unusual ways or usual ways through word, deed, or action to the hostess, me, an apology and amends are requisite for admission. That includes physical admission to the recall forum regarding Sheriff Jesse Watts that begins at 8 p.m. and will be streamed live via Zoom, YouTube, like this. If you are a participant in the recall forum / panel and otherwise would not be physically admitted because of unacceptable behavior, that means Jesse Watts, please plan to observe basic principles of respect for your hostess while attending the forum, or you will be ejected from the premises, whether physical or virtual. Jesse Watts has been warned. Right now, he has been told that it's not a good idea to insult your interviewer. Let me put it to you this way. You've been invited to be interviewed on CBS, NBC, ABC, CNN, or all those other what you probably call fake news outlets, or by the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Elko Daily Free Press, you know, a member of what's called the Fifth Estate, those of us who watch public officials to make sure that we aren't living in Animal Farm where the pigs are running the country, if you get my drift. Okay. This is adult humor. You got to put your big boy pants on. Otherwise, we'll have to call the wambulance. Wah, 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 she's making fun of me. Wah, wah, wah. God, man. Eureka County has not had news for 4 years, and they have never had a reporter like me, I guarantee you. Okay, so if you are a participant in the recall forum / panel, again, I'm talking to Jesse Watts directly, and otherwise would not be physically admitted because of unacceptable behavior, please plan to observe basic principles of respect. Look up the word if you don't know what it means, Mr. Watts. For your hostess, that's me. That means after we have a phone call, don't blurt all over Facebook that I hung up on you like I did something wrong. I hang up on people when they are not nice. And you were not nice. You were pushy, arrogant, rude, entitled. I think it's called white privilege. Look it up. if you are a participant in the recall forum/panel and otherwise would not be physically admitted because of unacceptable behavior, please plan to observe basic principles of respect for your hostess while attending the forum, or you will be ejected from the premises, whether physical or virtual. So you have been warned now, Mr. Watts. You've already violated the tenets of the forum by your behavior on Facebook. And I had to go on Facebook, take time out of my busy day, because I have a lot of work to do here to be able to get the public in here. I have food to cook. I have decorations to finish hanging. I have all kinds of things to do. And I don't see you helping. In fact, you're causing me to have to go on the air and get all riled up, which, you know, I'm an actress, so I could care less, but it seems to disturb your virgin ears. And oh, she was loud. I'm trained as an actress, you know, I to project to the back of the auditorium without a microphone. All right. I went to the Julie Andrews School of Performing. It's sort of a joke, but not really. Anyway, thank you for your comprehension of this basic principle of community decency, self-respect, and boundaries exercised by the management of the Central Valley Trading Post. Generally, Mr. Watts, here's news to you. Don't come on my property unless you have a warrant. You're not welcome. Okay. Thank you for your comprehension of this basic principle of community decency, self-respect, and boundaries exercised by the management of the Central Valley Trading Post. Bullying, misogyny, gaslighting, ghosting, and other forms of abuse will cause your being made to leave either or both the physical or virtual party. Thank you, the management. Okay. So, Mr. Watts called me, as I said, while I was working, hanging lights outside, which I need to get out with the ladder and a hammer and some nails and have somebody explain to me how to reload Nancy Collins' staple gun, which she was kind enough to lend me, considering mine broke. Home Depot, I will be bringing it back to exchange. And I get a call from Jesse Watts wanting to know why I didn't send him a written invitation. I've been up since 4 a.m. doing all kinds of things for no pay, just because I'm helping to mend the sacred hoop of life. I work for Great Spirit, Good Spirit. No, that's not voodoo, Mrs. Rachel Harding. And that's really racist. And you might want to watch The Addams Family for Halloween and think of me as Little Wednesday. And don't worry, I won't be burning your actual house down. I will just be burning you with my humor. Zoom. Consider yourself roasted. So, let me calm myself. All right. I just needed to, do some therapy, and humor is a good way to blow off steam. As they say, the itsy bitsy teapot. Just call me the itsy bitsy teapot. And we do actually cater to children. And the nice thing about Grandmother's House, which is one of the names registered to the White Buffalo Nation with Eureka County, and it is the name of our healing program from family violence, ritual abuse, lateral violence of children and of all ages. Is the nice thing about coming to grandmother's house is you can know that you're not going to be sexually abused, molested, or harmed in any way, and that we will be helping you and protecting you privately and safely and in a fun way from the traumas that you may be experiencing at the hands of your own family members, Boy Scout leaders, church officials, and your other run-of-the-mill pedophile perverts, and those who enjoy wearing uniforms and carrying metal penises so they can whip them out and show off how masculine they are, which is usually a screen for, how shall we say this? Let's see. YMCA. Get the point? Yeah, it's a screen for homosexual ideation for men who actually like men and are narcissistic and in love with their weenies. I guess this episode is really, you'll have to decide if your children can handle the truth about the hidden, sadomasochistic, disgusting, what do we call it? I call it aristocratic behavior of those who feel entitled because they wear a badge and carry a gun to act like Nazis. Now, people have said, well, you're throwing that word Nazi around, and they're not members of the National Socialist Party. Well, I'm a writer, and I use puns. So when I say Nazi, I spell it N-O-T, as in not, hyphen, that's the little line that goes in between two words and connects them. And then it's connected by S-E-E, not C. Because they're so in love with themselves, as my father, Phil Wolf, who is best friends with Maury Amsterdam, and that's where I get my humor talent from, is from my daddy. My dad used to sing a little song that I dedicate this morning to Mr. Jesse Watts and the Eureka County Sheriff's Office. Do I hear gnashing of teeth and the barking of dogs? We're gonna get you. How dare you? Okay, that was my imitation of the Eureka County Sheriff's Office reacting to this humor. I don't think they like it very much. There's a hole in the desert, Miss Liza. Bang, bang, to the head, bitch. Why do I feel like I'm channeling the Eureka County Sheriff's Office and Ken Jones? I must be on the same wavelength as Stephen King when he wrote Desperation. Anyway, back to the song that my daddy taught me. This is dedicated to Jesse Watts, and who is a mini-me of Ken Jones. Hi, Ken. Good morning, Mr. Jones. Here it goes. I love myself. I think I'm grand. I go to the movies and I hold my hand. And this is also an invitation once again to PJ Tripster. I've invited you. I've invited Barbara Dugan. I've invited Abby Johnson. I'm going to be inviting Ron Dumelli shortly. I know it's embarrassing to be in the same room as me because my humor is so cut to the bone. No holding back here. No, this woman is not civilized. I am a savage, barbarian woman, and I stand under the 408 AD treaty. And a special shout out to my teacher, Eagle Eye Man, and to the late Meredith Quinn Musa, and to the last great matriarch of the Americas Empire, Agnes Strikehead. And a shout out to all who have crossed the Great Divide. That's what this Sabbath is for in my household. I am going to be lighting candles and remembering those who have crossed over, as we call the Great Divide. And let's start with my own relatives, Phil and Merle Wolf, all of my ancestors. We remember you today at this time of year when they say that the veil between the living and the dead is the thinnest. And that's what happens right now. So special remembrance on this day, respect to what we call the dead. That includes Jerry Garcia and the Grateful Dead. Yes, we will be listening to Grateful Dead music tomorrow. And also perhaps on Monday, I expect that I will, at least when I'm playing children's songs for any children whose parents can tolerate me. All the children of Crescent Valley are invited to the All Saints Day party. However, do not come dressed as a demon, goblin, imp, ghoul, vandal, violator, predator, or any such being. The White Buffalo Nation is for people who are here for the mending of the sacred hoop. If your focus is destruction and death, that's what Halloween is for. You're not welcome in the doors, okay? As they say, get thee behind me, Satan. And no, I am not dropping my pants for you, buddy. If you try and violate me, I will whack it off and hang it on the fence and roast it and feed it to the dog. Get my drift, potato chip? Or that didn't really rhyme. So what is the difference between cat shit and, okay, I'm not going to go there because I haven't researched the laws on libel and slander yet. But anybody in my inner circle knows that the initials of every fly in my house are BK. Let's say that it stands for Booger King. Yep, Booger King. Every fly in my house is named Booger King. All right, I think I'm done. One more, let's see. Okay, I'm doing jokes this morning. So I'll tell one of the first jokes that I ever learned. What's red, white, and blue and goes bump, bump, bump? A nun falling down the stairs. That's in honor of all of the survivors of ritual abuse and the MMIW, MMIM, and MMIC people who survived Catholic school on the reservations. That is a joke dedicated to all the children in the unmarked graves and those who were thrown in the furnace. It's also dedicated to all of my relatives who were sent to ovens in Germany And the rumor on the street is they didn't waste all that good meat. Why, my goodness, there was a food shortage. As I've been told, my goodness, Siava, Miss Lamb of Good. Mary had a little lamb, me. My goodness, you look delicious. Vegetarians are reputed to taste good. And here's what I have to say to all of you, cannibals out there. You come to my door expecting to martyr me and have me sing, dance, rape me, and orgy, and then invite me in the back room to strap me down to the marble slab and pull an Incan sacrifice on me, where, you know, somebody takes the dagger and cuts out my heart while I'm four-pointed, and then slowly lets the blood drip into a cup so you can all, you know, drink my blood and eat my body. Kiss your own asses, dumb shits. You come, I was told by the angels, yes, I don't know about you, but I talk to angels. Yeah, you betcha. In fact, I have a small, still voice that talks in my ears. Oh, here's a joke for you. This was the first joke that Yeshua ever told me. I was in summer school at Harvard, and I was getting ready to go to class. And I was practicing talking to the Lord because all my Jewish relatives told me that Jesus wasn't real and that I was crazy for having accepted Christ at 18 and having become what you call a Messianic Jew, which I call a Messianic you. Uh-oh, the candle just went out. That's not a good sign. Let's see if we can relight it. Shine the light. Oh, little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. Oh, this candle's done. So here, let me hold up the other candle so we keep the light on while I talk about, you know, it's always good when talking about evil, which is lies spelled backwards, to have a light to protect us. So anyway, I was getting ready for class in Cambridge in my dorm room, summer dorm room, really nice room. And I was talking to my best friend, Yeshua. And I said, hey, do I need to take an umbrella? I mean, I was asking him about every trivial thing because I wanted to make sure I was really talking to Yeshua and not just to myself, since all my relatives told me that he wasn't the Messiah and he wasn't real, and that my believing in him proved that I was crazy. So anyway, I heard him say, no, you don't need to take an umbrella. So I go down onto the cobblestone street. I'm walking to class past, you know, the Vietnamese restaurant, past the little shop that you could go into and get a big roll with cream cheese and caviar. And I forget the name of the place. It was really famous. And lo and behold, I felt a few drops of rain on my shoulder. Well, I started freaking out because I thought, oh God, I am crazy. I'm just talking to myself. And I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh God, I really am crazy. There is no Jesus. I'm just fucking crazy. I'm just talking to myself. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, I hear the voice, and it says, you call this rain? Now 40 days and 40 nights, that's rain. And that's when I knew that I really had been saved, and that Jesus has a sense of humor. And he has to have a sense of humor to put up with all of you. And I'm going to say it straight up, motherfuckers. And why do I use the word motherfuckers? Because you are all walking on your mother. Everything in your house, my house, all of your cars, all of your clothes, all of your food, all of your money are a gift to you from she, whom we Lakota call Unshi Maka, Mother Earth. She is not a natural resource. She's a living being. And you are fucking her. You treat her like shit, even though you are made totally of her. You are the consequence of the union of love between Mother Earth and Father Sky. And you show no respect for your mother or your father. You are very, very naughty children, and I expect you shall all be getting coal in your stockings. And I guess you can use it to barbecue. But I'll tell you a secret that Yeshua told me. The only way to make it through the eye of the needle, remember that? I think some of you good Christian people may have read the New Testament. Huh? I think so. This is a special shout out to all you Baptist folk. You know how to get back into the garden? This is the message none of you wanted to hear. And Yeshua told me I could deliver it because he wasn't even going to bother. He's still recovering from the PTSD he experiences from his last visit to all you lovely people. The point is, read Genesis chapter 1. It tells you that before what we so euphemistically call the fall, that everything on earth was vegetarian. And everybody ate the seeds. And we Essenes like to consider, we consider what you call cannabis, marijuana, Mary Jane, to be the tree of life. It's not a drug. It's a plant. It's a teacher. It's sacred. And everybody, and you can eat the seeds, are the highest source of protein. Every part of the plant is useful. You can make clothes from it. You can make food from it. It eliminates radiation and poisons. It cures cancer. It cures stupidity. It tends to make people more tuned in, telepathic. I hate to break it to you, but telepathy is actually the normal way of communicating amongst the realms, you know, mind to mind, heart to heart. Words are just a lot of noise. So the way to get back to be of the first resurrection and not just like, you know, hanging out because you're a vampire or a zombie, drinking blood and eating, you know, other people to get your adrenochrome fix because you think, or, you know, or eating gold or injecting gold to find out how to stay alive because you've been cut off from source because you're naughty, naughty, naughty children and you're anti-matter, anti-mother, because you don't like the fact that you came out of a, excuse me, children, this is anatomy, vagina. And by the way, when you call a woman a cunt, it's not an insult. You're calling her a queen. Wow. Teaching two-leggeds is just really time consuming, and I have so much else I have to do right now. So I'm going to try and close this school room shortly. This is my classroom. Jesse Watts, put on your dunce cap and go sit in the corner. You'll be joining Lucifer and his lovely wife, Tara, and all of the other rebel souls who do their best impression of James Dean. Rebels without a cause, because they just were jealous that Yeshua was given the right-hand seat. Too much truth for you people? Huh? Oh, here's another message. Jack Herrera wrote that wonderful book, The Emperor Wears No Clothes. And I will confirm that to all of you people who want to keep your masks on and pretend to be respectable, I have some bad news for you. The Great Spirit can see everything you do, everything you've done, and can see behind your respectable masks. It's been alleged, Mr. Watts, that you have been unfaithful to your wife. Now, I don't want to embarrass the lady, because I also have a husband who is a cheater, a liar, a thief, and an out-and-out devil whom I love. And I'm not giving him a divorce. And I'm keeping his last name because he doesn't deserve it. Mr. Right acts much more like Mr. Wrong. So because he married me on December 15th, 2020, and put his personal seal, touched his DNA to the paper, we're married. The marriage has been blessed by Chief Geronimo Thomas Langendorfer of the Mendocino Tribal Reserve. It was blessed in advance by Robert Sav. And unfortunately, when you marry in the Lakota Jewish fashion, there is no divorce. So you're just out there getting an A for adultery. So here's a special message to all of you secret adulterers. You all get A's. You're flunking life because, I hate to break it to you, but on behalf of Moses, when you break the 10 Commandments, and the angels are like looking through their notes. Roger, that was me knocking on the table. Excuse me for a second. Roger thought when I knocked on wood that I was, that there was someone at the door. So he has to go check. So here we are. We're at judgment time, okay? Because some of you may recognize that these are the end days. Finally, oh, phew, God. I'm so sick of the reign of hell, the reign of terror, the new world order as brought to you by the devil and his queen, evil Eve, Adam and Eve. We've been living in their world. Wow, I'm tired of it. Yeah, I'm tired of it. I've had about quite enough of their humorous, bizarro world. So, but in any case, here, let me explain to you. So maybe you all can get right with the Lord you claim to love so much. It's a straight and narrow path. And threading the needle, you know, it's harder for a rich man to enter heaven than for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle. I don't not go to your churches because I don't believe in Yeshua. I don't go to your churches because I do believe in Yeshua. And I don't see him in your churches. I see a lot of well, let me read another story and then I will close this episode. I tend to ramble on, blah, 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 right? That's actually one of my nicknames. I think it's funny. Okay, let's see. Let's see if I can get to it. Hold on. Okay. It's going to take me a minute. I made a post the other day and it's going to take a second to find it. Okay. But it tells a story that I need to read out loud to you people. Okay. I got to be able to find it. Maybe I'll find it. Maybe I won't. Well, in any case, I can probably tell it without finding the post because I told it myself in the first place. My late mother-in-law, and that means lawful, not legal. My late mother-in-law, Maria Dunlap, was really beautiful. She was raised in Bavaria, a lot like she reminded me of the real Maria from The Sound of Music. And I was really blessed when I was pregnant with my youngest, my white buffalo baby, that before we traveled to Wisconsin to have the child born in a barn in the straw, literally on July 3rd, 1995 at exactly 2:00 in the afternoon, where we had gone because the small still voice had asked me to have the child near where Miracle had been born as a sign of our solidarity with the coming of the white buffalo, and that we were to merge the positive prophecies of my tradition, my Jewish tradition, and the book of Revelations, and the coming of heaven on Mother Earth, honoring the highest truths of all paths, short of human and animal sacrifice, that we were to travel to Wisconsin and have the child near Janesville, which is where Miracle, the white buffalo, had been born. Well, my husband at the time, Michael, his mother was dying of cancer at a very young age, unfortunately, in Monterey, California. And we traveled in our Chinook motorhome to Monterey and stayed at the Dunlap residence with Maria, who has crossed over. Special blessings and love to my dear deceased mother-in-law, and a nod to my not so nice father-in-law, Norman Dunlap, who is a real asshole, to be honest, but I won't go into that. In any case, he was really fortunate. She picked him over Elvis. I'm not sure why, but she did. And in any case, Maria was dying of cancer, and Michael and I stayed at the house, and were part of the team that cared for this saintly woman who I like to think of was the Rose of Carmel mentioned in the Bible. And she told a story about what it was like growing up, attending convent school in Bavaria during the Second World War, when some of her male relatives were forced to join the Nazi military. Forced to join the Nazi military. Well, apparently, Maria's mother was not a big fan of Hitler or the concentration camps, even though there was one very close by. It was so close by, in fact, that Maria's mother would take a picnic basket and she would take portions of rations because everybody was on ration during the war. And she would put rations into the picnic basket and she would send the then 16-year-old Maria, who was a good Catholic girl, virgin, pure as the driven snow, a true little Edelweiss girl. And Maria would walk bravely to the barbed wire fence around the concentration camp. And she would pass food to the starving prisoners, so that when the war was over and the camp was liberated, Maria was given a job as a secretary in the American military base, which is how the very funny story that's told in the family came to be. Mr. Elvis Presley, as many of you know, was in the army. And the king went to Germany. Well, there he saw the lovely young Maria. And he tried to make a beeline for her. Maria did not know who Elvis Presley was, but apparently she was not the least bit interested in him. And the soldiers who were her friends, because everybody loved her, as I did, protected Maria from Elvis's advances. And that's, she's just beautiful. And my daughter, who is, now 26, and I believe in her last year of law school. She's got some brains as well as beauty. Inherited her grandmother's good looks. And also her fierce sense of fighting for the underdog and justice. Truth, justice, and the American way, as we like to say. But that wasn't the story that I wanted to tell. The story I wanted to tell was another story that is passed around in my husband's family. There was this has actually happened. It's actually happened, and so reminds me of what I'm living through right now in the Central Valley, with all of the uproar about my humor and my bringing out in the news, exploring the recall of Sheriff Jesse Watts in what I call Desperation 2.021, starring Jesse Watts with Ken Jones, waiting in the wings. Like in Austin Powers, where, you know, the doctor has his mini-me. Jesse Watts is Ken Jones' mini-me. Humor, what? Thank goodness for free speech in America. Otherwise, I'd be dead right now. Why, if Ken Jones had his way, I'd be scooped up by an unmarked sheriff's car and whisked out into the desert. I'd be blindfolded. There'd be a bullet in my head. Oh, but they'd make it look like a suicide, of course. And then I'd be thrown in a mine shaft. Isn't that what you like to do? I heard that was modus operandi. If you don't know what modus operandi means, ECSO, go look it up. Modus operandi. That's MODUS space OPERANDI. It's from the Latin, the language of the Romans. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Okay, back to this horrible story. So there was this commandant of a concentration camp. He had a nice suit. He did. The SS, Hitler made sure all of his soldiers had really nice uniforms. Black high boots, for riding horses. Nice skin tight pants, show off those manly legs. Because they're all basically homosexuals. You know that, right? Hitler was a homosexual. Just like King James, the King James Bible. He was a homosexual, a faggot, as they say. A little bit queer, a little bit gay, a little bit fey, maybe a little bit fairy. Okay, but anyway, enough. I explore that topic in my play, The Legacy of Laius, which I have recorded and which I will post in case anyone hasn't heard the missing play of the Oedipus cycle, The Legacy of Laius, that I wrote. And it's dedicated to my teacher, the late Robert Fitzgerald, the former Librarian of Congress. Remember Congress? Eureka County Sheriff's Office? Oh, you don't answer to Congress, right? And you don't answer to God. You answer to your boss. Who is your boss? It seems to me like it's that snake in the grass. Because I asked Yeshua if he knew you, and he said he don't know you. He said, no, I don't know them. Anyway, so there's this commandant, and he's dressed so nice. His suit is clean. He's got, badges on. And he's a really good friend of Der Fuhrer. That's why he's been given the camp. It's a camp. It's a Nazi camp. Woohoo! Fun and games with the Nazis. Anyway, the mayor of this little alpine town comes to see Herr Commandant. And now I'm going to put on my acting chops, and I'm going to use an accent It's called acting. As Shakespeare said, all the world's a stage, and we are but players on it. So, excuse me, Rachel Harding, if you make it this far in the broadcast, dear, I'm going to use my training as an actress now, okay? This is called theater, the theater of the absurd. Because the story I'm going to tell you is unbelievable. But it reminds me of you, so I have to tell it, dear. Yes, if I was going to cast this as a movie, you would definitely be one of the townspeople. And Jesse Watts would be the commandant. And Ken Jones would be Hitler. That's how I would cast it. I know that's totally offensive to you. But as I said earlier, the emperor and the empress wear no clothes. I see right through you all. And you're all a little bit snaky to me. All right, here goes. So the mayor of this alpine village, picturesque, lovely Bavarian village. The mayor comes in to see the commandant, knocks on the door. Herr Commandant, may I come in, please? Oh, yes, 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 Mayor. Come in. I love to see you. Would you like a shot of bourbon? Huh? Or some schnapps? Here, cheers. Oh, yes, yes, Herr Commandant. Heil Hitler, because that's how they all greeted each other in those days. Heil Hitler, Heil Hitler. And he says, Herr Commandant, I have come. And he takes out a piece of paper, unrolls it, and it's got signatures. It's not signatures for a recall petition. It's signatures from all the townspeople. Because they've already rounded up all the Jews, gypsies, blacks, you know, the ne'er-do-wells, the homeless, the mentally infirm, the not, you know, not fit for life, the useless eaters. They're all in the camp. Slave labor. Anyway, the mayor hands the commandant the scroll. He says, Herr Commandant, thank you very much for seeing me this morning. But as you can see, all of the townspeople, they asked me to come and see you. And the commandant puts his monocle to his eye. And he holds the scroll and he says, okay, well, Mayor, what is this about? Could you summarize for me? I'm very busy. I have to review the troops, you know, check and make sure everything is fine. And you can see camp. We're expecting some very important visitors. You know, the commandants are coming for a party later. So I don't have very much time. So the mayor, he says, okay, takes off his hat. He says, well, Your Eminence, the townspeople have said, you know, at night, when the doctors are experimenting on the patients in the hospital, we are hearing the screaming of the Jewish pigs. They're screaming. Wah! 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 It's very loud, Herr Commandant. The commandant said, yes, I suppose it is. Yeah, I suppose it is. Well, said the mayor, Herr Commandant, we have a request for you, if you would be so kind. If you would be so kind, and thank you so much for the meat that you sent to the butcher shop. We're so hungry, and it was just delicious. And the sausage was just, the seasoning. Our compliments to the chef, the comp chef. We're so thankful. Thank you very much for the sweetmeats. Oh, you're very welcome, said the commandant. Now, could you please get to the point? I'm very busy. You're wasting my time, Herr Mayor. Okay, well, said the mayor, Herr Commandant. So we're hearing all this screaming at night, and we understand that they deserve everything that is done to them, those dirty, dirty Jew pigs. Ah! Death to all dirty Jew pigs. Thank you so much, said the commandant. So anyway, the screaming, said the mayor, is keeping us awake at night. And you know, we can't sleep. The screaming is so loud. And it's disturbing the children. They have to go to school in the morning. You know? They're Hitler Youth. You know? They very much really appreciate those uniforms. And they really appreciate, getting to come to the camp. And they're practicing the play. We hear the Fuhrer is coming next month. And some of the boys, they're almost ready to join the army. Heil Hitler! So we have a request, Herr Commandant. Yes, said the Commandant. Just tell me, what is your request? Well, the ladies suggested that maybe what you could do is you could put pillows over the heads of the prisoners while you are, doing your medical work at night, because the sound of the screaming is keeping us awake. And we thought maybe if you put pillows over their heads or tape over their mouths, they wouldn't wake us up while they're screaming. Because, we have work. We have to go to work in the morning for the war effort. Do you think that might be possible, Herr Commandant? The Commandant said, well, I think so. I would pass that on to the doctors, the scientists. I think that's a very good idea. Well, I'm very sorry that our work is very important. Dr. Mengele has some experiments that must be completed, and we're working around the clock, for the betterment of the super race. The white race shall rule the world. And we shall exterminate all those dirty, dirty Jews. Yeah. And he spat in the trash can. Just to say the word makes me sick to my stomach. Oh, Herr Commandant, I know it must be horrible to have to be around all those dirty, Christ-killing Jews all day. Thank you very much. And he bowed and he scraped and he held his hat and he backed out of the commandant's office as respectfully as a mouse, or shall I say, as a rat. And he happily scurried back to his little alpine village so he could give the good news to the good people of his beautiful little town that they were going to sleep better at night because the commandant had taken the suggestion and they were going to put pillows over or tape or muzzles over the faces of the prisoners as they did their medical experiments at night. This has been Siava, Lisa Wolf Wright. This has been a special morning edition of the Central Valley Report, which is also sponsored by Rainbow Comedy Central, live from heaven on Mother Earth now, where we honor the highest truths of all paths and work for the coming of the reign of Christ, following the principles of world peace without Armageddon, and recommending for those who want to be part of the first and second resurrection that you return to the original principles outlined by the Creator before the fall, because death and the eating of flesh were a special gift from Lucifer and Adam and Eve. Now, if you want to be adopted back into the family of Christ and his bride, which I certainly prefer to be part of that family, and the White Buffalo Nation has been adopted, by Yeshua and by the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, I suggest you get past your gnashing of teeth and repent. To quote Godspell, the musical, turn back, O man, forswear thy foolish ways. To all you more offs than on, that's why I call you more offs than rather than morons, because you're more off than on. This has been, I'm sure, very offensive to you. Special report brought to you by Mary's little lamb, me. Have a nice day. Don't be like the little mayor and the commandant. Wake up. This has been your Zen koan for the day. I just smacked you right across the head. I just shot you with my love gun. Bang, bang. And the truth shall set you free. And the pen is mightier than the sword. And if anything happens to me, I guarantee it was either the Eureka County Sheriff's Office or Becky Knight or any of her friends and allies, and any of the alphabet soup of deep state Walking Dead vampires who work for the devil, those who are life spelled backwards. Have a nice day. I have work to do. I will be watching out for drones and sharpshooters on the hills. And here's a suggestion, Mr. Watts, as I continue investigating the death in June of the young man killed by the ECSO sharpshooters, is I suggest you replace your goddamn live rounds with tranquilizer darts, you dumbass. Thank you. And we will close with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father and Mother, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy reign come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Thank you for giving us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the earth and all upon it, now and forever, world without beginning and world without end. And I will remind everyone that today, Saturday, is the Sabbath. Keep it holy. And as I was taught to say as a young child, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And that is a prayer to the Creator. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Elohim. Hear, O Israel, our Creator is one. Baruch Shem Kavod Nachuso Leolam Vaed.